Good morning, everyone. Today is chapter 10 of The Front Desk, and this book is written by Kelly Yang. Awesome book. Front Desk, chapter 10, starts on page 49. 2 days later, the new washing machine arrived while my dad and I were working, as did an unexpected guest, Uncle Ming. Uncle Ming wasn't really my uncle. That was just what we called family friends in China. But he had worked in the same hot, sweaty kitchen as my dad last year, and we hadn't seen him since then. How he managed to drive himself to the Cala Vista, I had no idea, because smoke was coming out from the hood of his car when he arrived, and the bumper was falling off. And Uncle Ming himself actually looked worse than his car. He had a swollen black eye and bruises all over his cheeks and neck. "What happened to you?" my dad asked, rushing over to help his wounded friend inside. He led Uncle Ming into the kitchen. Uncle Ming winced as he slid into the chair, like it hurt even to sit. "It's a long story," he said. His thick Beijing accent made me feel like I was back at home. He lifted his puffy eyes and peered at my dad. "It's good to see you, old friend." My dad gave Uncle Ming a hug while I took out his things and put them inside one of the guest rooms. Room 1, the nicest one. When I got back, the two were deep in conversation, talking about sharks, of all things. That was weird. I didn't want to disturb them, so I just stood in the corridor and listened. Me is pretty good about listening. "But why? Ming, why did you go to the loan sharks?" my dad asked. "I wasn't planning on it, but then I lost my job," Uncle Ming said, "and $100 turned into $500, and before I knew it..." "How much do you owe them?" $5,000, Uncle Ming said. His voice cracked as he said the number. My dad said a swear word in Chinese. "What do I do, buddy? They're going to kill me if I don't pay up," Uncle Ming cried. I gasped at the word kill. They both looked up at me and immediately dropped the subject. They didn't bring up sharks or loans again the whole evening. That didn't stop me from thinking about it, though. After dinner, while my parents and Uncle Ming reminisced about China, I slipped out the back door. Hank wasn't in his room, but Billy Bob's lights were on. I peered inside and saw that the Weeklies were just starting another game of Monopoly. "Mia!" they exclaimed when Billy Bob opened his door. "Come and join us." I grinned. I loved Monopoly. "Can I be the hat?" I asked them, plopping down on Billy Bob's bed. The hat in Monopoly looked nice. It looked like a rich man's hat. The shoe, on the other hand, looked like a poor man's shoe. "You can be anything you want," Billy Bob said, handing me the hat. He selected the race car for himself and the iron for Hank. Fred picked up the wheelbarrow. Quickly we set up the game. Billy Bob and Fred made me the bank as we played. I turned to Hank and asked him if he knew anything about loan sharks. "Oh, that's nothing you want to get involved with," he said. "No sirree. You want to stay as far away as you can from the rabbit hole." He explained that a loan shark was someone who loaned people money with a very high interest rate. "What's interest?" I asked him. "Interest is like a fee you pay the person for borrowing the money. So if you want to borrow $10 from me, I would say, okay, but you got to give me $12 back. Otherwise, what do I get out of it? So that $2 is interest," he said. "But a loan shark," Billy Bob jumped in. "A loan shark doesn't want $12 back. He wants $20 back, or even $50. $50, I asked. "What kind of people would agree to that?" "Desperate people," Hank said. "People who can't get loans anywhere else." "And what happens if they don't pay them back?" Hank sucked in the air. "You don't want to know," he said. I turned to Fred. "They'll come and find you," Fred said. "They'll beat you up, or worse." I felt myself go cold. Just then, Hank let out a squeal. "Hot diggity dog, will you look at that? I now own Pennsylvania Avenue and Park Place." Hank howled with glee. "Pay up, Mia. That'll be $50 a night." I handed him $50. Hank took the Monopoly money and kissed it. Someday, Mia, he said softly. Someday. Someday what? Billy Bob asked, chuckling. You'll really own Pennsylvania Avenue and Park Place? Hey, it can happen. If it can happen in Monopoly, why not in real life? Hank insisted. Isn't that right, Mia? I looked at Hank. I had a feeling he was just trying to make me feel good, but I thought I saw a glimmer of hope in his eyes, too. Right, I quickly said. And that's the end of Chapter 10. See you in a little bit for Chapter 11.